Our most kind and gracious and righteous Heavenly Father, we thank you, dear God, for this opportunity and privilege to call upon your name in prayer. We thank you, dear God, for giving us all a safe journey here today. We thank you for this beautiful day outside. We thank you for watching over us and protecting us. Please be with us as a council, dear God, as we take care of the Cherokee Nation's business, dear God, that we do it with grace and honor and wisdom, dear Lord. Bless us all. Forgive us of our sins. Lead us, guide us, and direct us. And in the end, save us all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Counselor. Shelley, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Johnny Kidwell,
I'm here.
Kevin Easley, Sasha Black Fox Qualls, Danny Callison, Julia Coates, Joe Deere, Ashley Grant, Uriah Grass, Lisa Hall,
Here.
Clifton Hughes, Daryl Legg, Kendra McGady,
Here.
Dora Petzkowski, Cody Poindexter,
Honey.
Joshua Sam, Melvina Shotpouch, Kendessa Teehee. We have a quorum.
All right. Thank you, Shelley. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the December 15th, 2025 regular session. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. That motion passes. All right, so reports, we're going to mix things up a little bit. First, we're going to call up Samantha Hendricks, Human Resources. Ma'am, come on up.
And Marshall Mead said I would have to set the tone, so no pressure. So before we get started, I wanted to take a minute to introduce Chief Chuck Hoskin. He wanted to say a couple of words before we get started.
Thank you, Samantha. Nice to meet everyone. I appreciate your time. I wanted to preface a report that Samantha will deliver here from the podium, which has been sent to council leadership, which will be circulated, and it stems from the Marshall Act amendments of 2024. And among those amendments was challenging us to do something that had never been done before, should have been done, and I'm proud that we have done it. And I think it's at least an initial step to talk in a more comprehensive manner about this subject, which is Cherokee Nation Marshal Service retirement. The challenge in the law enforcement sector is workforce, as it is in many sectors. We, of course, are growing the Marshal Service, and we're in a hyper-competitive environment because there's lots of agencies out there. The standard across agencies is a defined benefit retirement. That's not the Cherokee Nation's retirement. Our retirement, as you know, is predominant across the region and across the country, is a defined contribution plan, 401k plan, not a pension plan. But we know that if we're in an environment where we have to grow the Marshal Service, we have to think about the labor market that is involved in growing that Marshal Service, that we have to examine what the rest of the sector does. And what is predominant across the rest of the sector is a retirement system that is a defined benefit program. We're not announcing today that we're recommending or moving to a defined benefit program, but I will say, to my knowledge, this is not the first time the question's been raised, but this will be the first time that an answer has been offered as to what steps, what are the financials associated with such a move, and the financials are significant, as you can imagine. And so I wanted to preface that by thanking the council for those amendments, letting you know that our HR department, of course, analyzes all compensation. In fact, since the deputy chief and I did an executive order on the minimum wage, one of the provisions was to do an annual compensation analysis to try to be a little more comprehensive and coordinated on how we're dealing with compensation. But the Marshall Act called for a special every other year report. And so that has also been done, and as Samantha will explain, we're doing very well in terms of a competitive pay for law enforcement. But the Act said the very first report, this inaugural report, would have a special addendum on the question of retirement. So I wanted to preface that and underscore that for me, this is a very important question. We have not fully answered it, but we are all going to be in a better position to understand what a move like that could be should the Cherokee Nation decide in the future to take it. So with that, I would turn it back over to Samantha. Thank you.
So I believe we have a little small PowerPoint just for visual sakes. And if not, we can go ahead and move forward. So I hope somebody has the clicker. So as we talked about the Cherokee Nation Marshal Service, we did do a study on the compensation and retirement study. So if we could go ahead and go to the next slide. I don't have the clicker. There we go. So in the market report, as it talks about, we did go ahead and look at the compensation piece and also the retirement. The compensation is something that was fairly easy to do because this is something that we do all the time, every day in human resources. So if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. So on this, the market study we included on the wage standards, we looked at the federal law enforcement standard office, or the officer standards. We did peer benchmarking with the BIA. We also looked at statutory compliance which was with requirements under the Legislative Act 42-24, and also guidance under the USC 5305 and 5304. The study was found that the Cherokee Nation Marshal Service compensation consistently meets or exceeds standards for law enforcement professionals. Salaries on an average of 7% higher than the standard federal pay scale, providing a significant advantage over our federal benchmark. We did look at our tribal law enforcement, which was the Chickasaws, Choctaws, Muskogee Creek, and Seminole Nations. For the fiscal year 2025, a 1.7% salary increase was successfully applied. Then we had to look at 2026. And that's where we are looking at a recommended adjustment for fiscal year 2026, consistent with base salary increases ranging from 1% to 3.8%. In accordance with the Section B6 of the Act, the information serves as a market study and is designed to ensure continued competitiveness within the labor market. So that was study one. So if we go to the second slide, we'll go into the retirement benefit analysis. This has a lot of numbers on it, and you'll have information on a report that will be sent to you or given to you, which goes a little bit more in detail than just in this slide. But I wanted to keep it high level to be able, for the sake of time. So on the retirement plans for law enforcement officers, of course, we know that they're distinct due to the nature of the job and what's required of them to do on an everyday basis. So we looked at the Oklahoma State law enforcement retirement systems, including the government, state, county, municipal law enforcement agencies, which consisted of the Tribal Police Department, the Tahlequah Police Department, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, county sheriff, deputies, and GRDA. The normal retirement eligibility was 20 years, regardless of age. The vesting varied by participant date, where some had required 10 years of service. The member contribution seemed to vary. It was everything from 0 up to 8% of the salary, so it varied quite a bit. What we looked at was how do we do things better than what just the average that we were looking at. So we looked at an accelerated 5-year vesting schedule with a vesting date of 1/31 of 2021. The Cherokee Nation Marshal Service law enforcement roster consisted at this time of 90 people. Now remember, this is a snapshot in time. We know we're going to grow our Marshal Service and there's going to be turnover, but we did it with what the information that we had right at this time, which was 90 active officers. The breakdown of the eligibility was as follows. The current vesting officers, which were there longer than the 5 years, was 22 officers, which meeting the 5-year requirement based on the 1/31 of 2021 look-back date. Future vesting would be those 68 officers that are remaining that projected to reach vesting status within the next 5 years. The implementation of the proposed defined benefit pension plan involves a multi-tiered funding commitment that is categorized by past service liabilities and projected operational costs. So just to give you an idea, so the 22 law enforcement officers currently vested, we accounted for a total liability cost of $6 million, with an additional first-year service cost of $309. $1,000. Looking forward to the next 5 years, the plan anticipates vesting an additional 68 law enforcement officers, which is combined past liability and service costs, I'm gonna sneeze, of $5 million for that group. Over the total projected costs, when you add all of that together for a total 90 law enforcement officers, you're looking at $12.1 million. So keep in mind that this will vary. This is going to change based on the market and time, and if we add people or subtract. So we took industry standard, and that's what we applied to our current data that we had. So, like I said, it'll affect based on funding and the plan. So if you'll go to the next slide. So this just is an overview. The Cherokee Nation Marshal Service maintains a strong competitive position when it comes to salary and compensation. We're sitting at 77% above the federal pay scale. The implementation of the 1.7 increase in 2025 and the proposed 1 to 3.8% adjustments for 2026 ensures that we are continually able to attract and retain our marshals. And the data for our comprehensive benchmarking on our benchmarking of agencies provides a valuable in-service worth exploring. Like I said, this is just the beginning piece of this. This is just the initial findings as we know of industry standard and what we have on the data on those 90 employees currently. And we know that's going to grow over time. That this would continue to explore benefits that can better reflect the high-risk nature of the Marshal Service. So with that, that concludes my report. I kept it very high level. Your report will have a little bit more detailed information in it to be able to, this is a lot. It's a deep subject. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Yes, Councilwoman McGady.
Yes, I was just wondering, I'm going to assume that facilitating earlier retirement compared to the larger workforce is due to the dangerous nature of this position?
That's what we're looking at, yes. You know, the risk that's associated with
Absolutely.
that piece, yeah.
With being a law enforcement officer.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilman Callison.
Yeah, Samantha, so we will stay with the 401K plan, or?
We are staying, as we're reviewing this information, we will be continuing the 401K plan. If we decide, this is very much in an informational type of setting right now, mainly because the Act had asked us to do this analysis. So the 401K is still in play, that nothing's changing on that. If we decide to do something different as we explore these options, then we'll look at that time.
So if we happen to go to a retirement system, we'll have to start all over with everybody?
Now, this is just with the marshals. This is just
Well,
with
I
these-
mean, with the marshals, though. I mean, all of a sudden, the 401K is ICSHADE, and we're going to go with the difference is, being an educator, we didn't have a 401K. We had retirement. So I kind of understand the difference, that you have in between one or the other. But the point is, we're going to have to start all over again with everybody. That's where the 12 million's coming into effect, that we will start the.
We will do the look back and look at what has been vested and where we go from there. So,
Bring everybody up to date.
right,
Okay. Thank you.
if that's what's decided, of course. So,
Right, are there any other questions? Ma'am? Excellent PowerPoint.
thank you.
Appreciate that. I'm sure as the counselors get the full report in their email, they may have a few questions after digesting all of that. But we appreciate you stepping up and taking care of the
So
marshals for us.
I have one more question. I said,
Yes, ma'am.
You have my report, my monthly report.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer
Any
them.
questions about the monthly report that Samantha Hendricks has put out? Doesn't look like there's any question. Here we go, Counselor.
What's the feedback so far on the new paid time off?
I have a lot of great paid time. And I brought that
Good.
with me in case it came up. But we have heard nothing but good things from employees.
Good.
Now, we did hold calls, WebEx calls for employees to call in. And there were some that we needed to explain a little bit more. But for the most part, everybody is really liking the new change.
Yeah, it seemed really good, so I'm proud.
Yeah, that's good. I've actually gotten a couple of calls, and both of those calls spoke to the fact that they were very pleased with the way things are going. But are there any other questions out there? Ma'am, that'll do it. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll move back up to the top. Marshall Mead. While we're on the topic of marshals, good to see you again today, Marshall Mead.
Good to see you, Council, CO. All right, you guys have my reports. You guys have any questions?
Are there any questions for Marshall Mead and his report that he has put out?
I do have one thing that's going to be kind of a surprise to them, but I did bring each one of my senior directors from my departments that's underneath me. If they could just kind of pop up and wave to the crowd or wave to the council.
Oh, yeah, we all like surprises.
Right.
Let's do that.
I have Senior Director Joe Rainwater. He's the Senior Director of the Marshal Service. I have Senior Director Corey Keel. He is over DPS, which is, there we go.
Bring them up. Come on up. Introduce
Senior
yourselves.
Director, this is Senior Director Corey Keel. He's my Senior Director of Department of Public Safety. He's over EM, EMS, and Emergency Communications. This is Senior Director Joe Rainwater over the Marshal Service. This guy is the turtle of the group, slowly moving up. This is Senior Director Tyler Trammell. He's over our Justice Services, Adult and Juvenile, and Probation and Security and everything else. So I just wanted to give you, put some faces with the names that you guys see on emails or who I'm like, oh, let me get with this person. This is who you can blame if you don't. Not me, you blame these guys. Okay, so, right, all right. Well, if there's anything else or anything for them, please let me know.
Yeah. Well, Marshall, I will say that yesterday's inauguration was quite the event. I appreciate you, letting those of us who could attend. The words are great. Chief's comments were always, as always, spot on, and I appreciate everything you do. And if you would, for the counselors that weren't there yesterday, you gave out a couple of awards. Would you tell the rest of the council here the two awards that you gave out yesterday?
Yes, yesterday I gave out 3 awards, 2 to Cody Colburn, Deputy Marshal Cody Colburn, and Anthony Elizondo for Life Saving Award. They were in D.C., and they're on their off time, touring, and they saw a little girl choking and actually not choking, she was going into a seizure. And both Elizondo and Colburn popped into action and was able to, Elizondo rendered aid, and then Cody was able to run down and get EMS and was able to get her to the hospital. And then the other one was Kyle Whitmire. He was at the Elder Summit. While Chief was speaking, a lady was choking on her meal, and she stood up. He saw it, ran over there, gave her the Heimlich maneuver, and dislodged the piece of chicken. So I gave out 3 life-saving awards.
I think we can give them a round of applause, I think. If you wouldn't mind, maybe next rules, bring them in and let us thank them for their efforts. I would
Yes, sir.
appreciate
I
that.
sure will.
Are there any other questions for Marshall Mead? Yes, Councilman Poindexter.
I just wanted to compliment Corey Keel when he was in here, and his response time to any time any of us send anything in. He is quick, on the ball, and matter of fact, on my way in, I saw an emergency management vehicle driving through Adair County, just checking the roads and checking on everybody. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And so he's always been great every time something happens, and he's pretty awesome. And I'm just thankful for the emergency management team. So
Thank you. Corey, did you hear that?
Secretary Sam, I know you've got a question over here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair. Kind of same thing as Cody or Councilman Poindexter there. And I reached out I think I've talked to all of y'all this past week, but Corey Keel, we had some patients that couldn't get to dialysis treatments, and I had the nurses over there calling, and Corey was able to work with them and get them to their treatments and everything. And just the response time during this snowstorm was great, and I know we have some great workers that work for the tribe and are out there taking care of our citizens. I just want to thank you and appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, that's pretty good. Like I said yesterday, before I let you go here, this council supports everything that you guys are doing. We support you, we respect you. Whatever we can do to make your job easier, we will, from a resource perspective. So don't hesitate to ask when the time comes.
All right, thank you. I've
right.
definitely got that up here.
Yeah, I know you do. I know about 70 others in there that did too. Whenever I said that, so that's all right. We appreciate you, Marshall. Thank you for coming in today.
All right, thank you.
All right, Office of the Attorney General, General Harshaw. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, members of the council. If I may provide briefly just some updates on some big pieces of litigation that we have moving. If you all recall, the Ballard and Iskey case, which I provide updates every month, has had some movement. If you recall, that case was filed by the United States of America against two district attorneys, one in the Northern District, one in the Eastern District, objecting to this attempts to exercise jurisdiction over Indians in Indian country. When that litigation was filed, we moved to intervene into that case, filed a number of different papers with the court, including requests for injunctive relief. And when the transition happened with the new administration, there was a holding period where they were reviewing cases, and then came about the government shutdown, which put all of these cases on hold for a period of time. But for the pending motion to dismiss that we had already presented to the court, we have received in the past, I think it was last week, a decision from Judge Egan in that case on our motion to dismiss, on the state's motion to dismiss, which was rejected. And in that opinion, there was some language that I view as quite favorable. It was getting more into the procedural aspects of our standing and the claims that we've made, but it was good to see that order come down in the way that it did and the way that it presented and squared up some of these issues we find quite encouraging. So with respect to that case, we have coming up here in a couple of weeks some additional papers that we have to file with the court as to the status of the case, and hopefully we'll, although it's been on hold for some time, it looks like the case is now getting some activity, and hopefully we can get into the merits of our litigation soon and look forward to the rulings that we've already received and expect to receive as we move along. The hunting and fishing litigation is moving full steam ahead. We have filed responses to the state's motion to dismiss in that case. It's in the same court in front of the same judge, and our hope is that we can get a quick ruling as we move that case through litigation, potentially to the 10th Circuit and beyond. With respect to the hunting and fishing matter, if you all recall, there was an Attorney General's opinion by General Drummond some months ago that spoke to this issue and what the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation's obligations were in Indian country with respect to the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, and the Choctaw Nations. I understand late yesterday afternoon there's been a challenge filed against that opinion, an original action in the Oklahoma Supreme Court by the Wildlife Department and Governor Stitt, so we're still processing the allegations that are made, and it's specifically intended, as I understand it, to challenge the legitimacy of that opinion, but we're still reviewing that docket, and we'll likely be weighing in on that topic as well. With that, I mean, those are the major cases that we have moving, in addition to the great work that our team does all the time on the criminal justice side of things and representing the interests and agencies of the nation. And with that, if there's any questions, I'd love to take them.
Wow, is there any questions for General Harshaw? Councilor Hughes, please.
Was any of our citizens, did they get ticketed?
So you're speaking with respect to the hunting and fishing matter?
Yes, sir.
We don't have any specific citation that was issued, let's say in Cherokee County, but part of the pattern and practice of what the Wildlife Department was doing was assessing administrative fees out in the field in lieu of citations, threatening tribal citizens for potential citations if they're caught hunting and fishing in accordance with our law and not state law. But there were citations issued in other jurisdictions. Yes, sir.
Councilor Callison.
A.G. Harshaw, so the compact we did a year or so ago where we were able to hunt and fish on the Choctaw, the Creek, the Chickasaw, now that this has come about, this doesn't take place anymore, or is it still, are we still looking at it as we could go to the Chickasaw Nation and hunt and fish?
That's right. Correct. That was a reciprocity agreement that we entered into among the 5 tribes I think it was about 2 years ago. And what it does is it provides a framework for tribal citizens to hunt and fish under
in the participating other tribes' reservations subject to that tribe's law and licensing process. And it's our position that that is consistent with our authority under tribal law and valid today. It is a subject of the litigation, sir.
Any other questions for General Harshaw? Well, sir, you are a busy man. There's no doubt about that. Thank you for everything you're doing for the Cherokee Nation. All right, FOIA and GRA, Gwen Terrapin.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
It's good
ma'am.
to see all of you today.
Good afternoon.
You should have a copy of my report, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions at all? Ma'am, looks like there's no questions today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with the Election Commission, Marcus Fears.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
First, I wanted to express our appreciation for being invited over to the work group to discuss election reform. Appreciate that. Second, you've got my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions at all for the Election Commission? Well, doesn't look like there's any questions. I will thank you guys for coming over and participating in that. I know the working group appreciates it. I'll speak on their behalf. I hope they don't mind, but thank you for coming over and playing a part in that. I know we'll be going back and forth with some substantive changes, I'm sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sharon Swepson with the Tax Commission.
Good afternoon. You do have my report, just a couple of highlights. For November year-to-date compared to November last year, we're a little over 14% increase on motor vehicle, which is good. And then on revenue and taxation, we have a 7.99% increase over last year, year-to-date through November. So with those two things, and I also wanted to make sure, did you get my report on the rebates?
I did receive that. I was going to thank you for sending that over. I appreciate you, ma'am.
Okay, we've done two more since I sent you that report, which brings our total up to 4,214 rebates to citizens with a total of 293,115.58. So we're doing those every other week, so we're getting out about 2 batches a month, so.
That's great. Thank you, ma'am. Are there any questions? Ma'am, I see no questions, but I was going to thank you for sending that over. I appreciate that information. It's nice to know how far out we've been able to expand that to those Cherokee citizens that live, those 150,000 or so that live at large in Oklahoma. I hope they participate in this program.
I can continue doing it like this, or I can just put it in the report, whichever way that you all would prefer it.
If you would just put it in your report, that'll keep you from having to duplicate your efforts. I would appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
We do have a question, Councilor Grass.
Thank you, sir. Just a quick question. Is there a tentative date for the release of the specialized branch veteran tags? If I missed it, I'm sorry. I was just
No,
flipping through there to make sure.
We don't have a date yet. We're actually waiting on OCI to give us the draft back. And once they give us that back and we confirm everything is good on it, then we should have it, we're hoping within 4 to 6 weeks. So
Cool.
it'll be a little
Cool.
time consuming to get them, but
I've got a handful of excited veterans to see that.
good.
So,
We're
thank
very
you, guys.
excited too to be able to offer them.
I can't wait to get that Coast Guard tag, man. Just so everybody in here knows. All right. Are there any other questions? Yeah. We'll put you right in there. Are there any other questions at all? Ma'am, that looks like it. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
Self-governance, Shauna Miles. Is she here with us today? There we go. All right. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Council. You have my report, and if you have any questions, I welcome those.
Do we have any questions for self-governance? It looks like we do not have any questions, ma'am. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Gaming Commission, Audrey Imhoff. Good afternoon, ma'am.
You should have my report. Just a couple of things to highlight. Our next commission meeting will be on Friday, February 6th at the Chota Center, and I did include in my report a schedule of the rest of the commission meeting dates for this year. So we will have meetings at Hard Rock, Tahlequah, Roland, and West Salem Springs. And then I also wanted to note that in December of 2025, CNE did submit their facility license applications for each casino. In addition to us reviewing those license applications, the compliance department conducted audits of each facility to verify their adherence to the federal, state, and Cherokee Nation regulations related to environmental standards, public health, and safety. And throughout that inspection process, compliance engaged with CNE safety personnel to address any of those issues. The safety team promptly resolved all of those findings, and the 2026 licenses were issued and approved as of December 12th. So, with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Are there any questions? We have one. Councilor Hughes.
Okay, absolutely.
Are there any other questions? Ma'am, I would like to ask you one question.
Okay.
At this last ITC, there was a topic was brought up about the handling of free play at the casinos. And do you know about anything about that topic?
Not that's been brought to my attention.
Okay. All right. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Do you have another one? Oh, okay.
Another question? No other questions? Clifton News has 2 questions. Just one? All right. Okay, so we will move on. Let's see, old business, there is none pending. New business, item lettered alpha. Councilwoman Black Fox Qualls, would you take that from me, please?
Yes, Speaker. This is a resolution confirming the reappointment of Cynthia Myers as a board member of Cherokee Nation Home Health Services, Inc., and I move for its approval.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Cynthia Myers, is she with us? They were here last time. Yeah, so I don't guess they need to speak unless they have to, but I see a few that just might want to speak as we get down there. So hearing no discussion on item A, all in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. That motion passes. Item number B, Councilwoman Grant, would you take that, please?
Yeah, item B, a resolution confirming the reappointment of Robert Stover as a board member of Cherokee Nation Home Health Services, Inc., and I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing no discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. I think we've gone through this one already as well. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. That item passes. Item C, Councilwoman Hall, would you take that, please?
Thank you. A resolution confirming the appointment of Deborah Proctor as a commissioner of the Cherokee Nation Election Commission, and I move for its approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Speaker, I would like to be added as a sponsor.
Anybody else? All right, there are a few. I'll tell you what, put us all on there. Yes, you spoke last time. Would you like to, ma'am, if you're just dying to hop up to the microphone, we'll let you do that again. If not, we'll go ahead and vote. I tell you what, we've got a motion and a second. We've added people to the sponsor list. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. That item passes. Congratulations to all of you. All right, item D. Councilman Hughes, would you take that, please? All right, scratch that. Yep. Dr. Cadessa Teehee, would you take that, please?
This is a resolution authorizing the Bureau of Indian Affairs to revise and update the Cherokee Nation's inventory of tribal transportation facilities, and I move for its approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. That item passes. All right, item E. Deputy Speaker Easley, if you'd help us out there.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. This is discussion and possible action, the change of council and committee meeting dates, and I put this in the form of a motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. let's move into discussion. As I know we've talked about this a little bit. Is there anybody that is not aware of what the plan is for the? I know we sent out what the Constitution says, what our title says, what our policies and procedures say. The idea to keep it all going forward, we would change our meeting dates to be just simply the second Monday of the month and the last Thursday of the month, right? Because if we keep it the way it is now, we don't have enough time for about 4 or 5 months this year to get our rules and executive E&F agendas out after the first. It's just kind of discombobulated. Does anybody else want to have any questions or would like to speak to that? I think we all kind of know where we're headed. Councilwoman Teehee, please.
I know that in November, December, and I think the month of July, we historically have moved those rules and E&F meetings to, we've gone to 1 day a month during those months due to the holiday schedule, and I think July was to accommodate possibilities for vacations, I believe. Is that something that we want to codify at this time, or do we want to kind of leave that on a ad hoc basis?
Well, I think that we need to remember that this governs basically, nothing really governs our committee meetings. It governs our tribal council meeting. And then we can move our committee meetings however we see fit. This is primarily for that tribal council meeting. We're always open to a majority vote to move our committee meetings to whatever days that we would like them to be. And that we will continue to do that, to combine those when we see that we need to and when the council sees fit. Does that, anybody have any other questions about that? Does that answer your question, Dr. T? Great. Anyone else? Say that again, ma'am. Yeah, well, if it falls on a holiday, we'll do the next working day, right? That's the way we've typically done that. All right, so we're going to take a quick vote to make sure that we codify this, and we'll make this change. And now a change will be coming next month, hopefully, to change our title code as well to follow along with this. But this vote that we're getting ready to take here by acclamation will be to make our committee meetings and tribal council meeting on the second Monday of the month, and our E&F and rules and subpack, if we have those, and all those at the last Thursday of the month. So if there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye. If there's any opposed, say no. Well, we are in discussion and possible action. So that was are we good here? All right. Kevin and Dora. Motion is second to go in and then provide action. So yeah, with that being said, that item passes, and we will make the changes, and we'll bring out the changes to Title 19 in the coming months to make sure we codify that in the proper way. And then with that, with E being taken care of, so that passes. Deputy Speaker Easley.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I would make a motion to go into executive session for discussion and possible action with personnel hiring.
All right, we have a motion and a second to move into executive session to discuss discussion of possible action of personnel hiring. Is there any discussion for that motion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? There are none opposed. It will take us a minute to go into executive session, but that passes. We'll move for executive session.